I'm Lonnie.
And I'm Chris.
And let's get
Let's
on,
get on
lake
lake time. Well, welcome back to On Lake Time podcast. I'm CC McOtter.
Lonnie Carter.
And tonight, which is July 3rd, timestamp guys, 6:30 p.m., we are joined by a special guest, our first guest for the show, which we will have one for almost all the episodes coming up, is Supervisor Dwayne Adams, representing Louisa County Mineral District. We are honored to have you here tonight, Supervisor Adams. And if you'd like to say anything to our listeners and our viewers, you can go ahead and introduce yourself. We'll get right to what it is that we do, and that is getting on lake time.
Well, that sounds good. First of all, I'd like to, Chris and Lonnie, thank you for having me here, and especially right here the day before Independence Day. So it's an exciting, great time to be an American. We celebrate our freedom tomorrow, and you know, there's no better place to be than on lake time, especially lake time at Lake Anna. I first came to Lake Anna when I lived in Hanover County in the late 1980s in fishing tournaments, and glad I probably wasn't fishing against you at that time, but we may have.
We may have had a weigh-in shared from time to time. I don't remember, but I was so young back then. I probably was donating money.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure I came in the bottom half if you were there, Chris. But you know, Lake Anna has always been very special to me from those times back in the late '80s. Of course, my wife was born and raised here in Louisa County and graduated Louisa County High School, and when we met and we got married, I was still in Hanover, and we were deciding where to come, and all indications were that she wanted to go back home, and it didn't take much to convince me to come back to Louisa County, and we found a place on the lake in 2000 that we've lived here for 25 years, raised our family here. Our boys graduated from Louisa County High School, and
What a smart woman you married.
Absolutely.
I always tell my wife, every important decision hasn't reached my level yet, so it sounds like that was a very wise choice.
Well, if people ask me if I was born and raised in Louisa County, I say no, but I got here as quick as I could.
It's a true statement, though. But.
So, Dwayne, you're involved in many layers of Lake Anna life, and not only are you a supervisor, but you're a businessman. And we'd be remiss if we didn't ask you, one, why did you decide to become a citizen servant and joining and running for office and serving as you do in the county? And then two, why did you want to open up a business at Lake Anna? For those of y'all who don't know, that Dwayne operates LKA Water Sports, which is a watercraft rental business located off of Route 522 at the Boardwalk Complex, which includes the Boardwalk Hotel, Tim's, and several other businesses.
Some of the most beautiful boats and jet skis, too, that I've seen on the lake. So
I think he has a standard-setting business. But, yeah, tell us a little bit about those two aspects of your life on lake time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's start with why did I decide to try to serve my community? And I think that goes back to values instilled in me by my parents and my grandparents, and what I've tried to instill in my boys is try to leave it a little bit better than you found it. And about 8.5 years ago, after having conversations with friends and neighbors and people that I go to church with, I decided to run for the Board of Supervisors because I felt like I had something to give to the community. And I was honored and blessed that I won that election. And
how long ago was that?
8 years. This is my 8th year on the board.
And you're the chairman of the board, right?
I've been chairman of the board for the last 4.
Wow.
Served for the last 8. And you know, it's all about trying to improve your community, make your neighborhood better, make your community better. And when you look at whether it's Louisa County as a whole or the lake specifically, there are a lot of great things that are happening, but there's also always room for improvement, and where we can grow and we can better our community and better our neighborhood and the people who live here. And you know, I've been involved in lots of decisions over 8 years, and a lot of people think I made the right call, and some people think I didn't make the right call, but that's okay. That's just part of making a decision. And I've just always felt that I had an obligation to the citizens that I represent that when I make a decision on something that's controversial, to explain my thought process and go through that decision-making process, listen, gather the information, gather all the facts, and try to make the decision that's best for the community and best for the county. And, 4 years ago, I didn't have any opposition, so I think that the majority of people agreed with that. And I enjoy that part of public service. It takes a great deal of time, but it's rewarding. And if you do it for the right reasons, which I think everybody that I serve with does, it's to lift the entire community. And when you look at Lake Anna, it is such a beautiful body of water that it's such a popular body of water that I think we have to be good stewards, whether we serve an elected office, appointed office, volunteer, full-time resident, part-time resident, or just a visitor. We all have a responsibility to protect this resource, and that's exactly what the lake is. It's a resource to the community, and it's responsible for millions of dollars in revenue to both Louisa and Spotsylvania County, and to a smaller degree Orange County. But it's also a place where hundreds of thousands of people a year come to spend time, to recreate, to enjoy their family. Again, we're here on July 3rd. There'll be 100,000 people visiting the lake this weekend, and we all have a responsibility to maintain that resource, make sure that we're safe, make sure that we all get home safely on Sunday night or Monday. And I think that's really important.
I came directly off the lake today, and I can tell you, in all three counties, well, especially Spotsylvania, Louisa, represented well. People, pouring in, like you said, and I know I work with a lot of different counties and municipalities, and I know the time that goes in, not just with you and all the county staff, the sacrifice that you do. It's always appreciated, but we're always focused just on the lake, and we're trying to give the real news straight from the source on lake stuff. What's some of the exciting things about the lake that you want to talk about? I mean, obviously we love the lake, and we have talks all the time. I would love to hear more.
Yeah, I do too. Let me as you consider your response on that, and also don't forget the why you're in business here. You said you were on the water today. You and I had a conversation earlier.
Yes, sir.
Right. I was on the water today at dark 30. Right?
Yes, you were.
You, I know, were on the water today because your business is right on the water. You were at least on a dock at some point. Yeah. So I want everybody to know out there that you're looking at people who live the Lake Anna life. This is on Lake Time personified. These are three people, and they're just three of many people that just love Lake Anna life. And if you're considering, coming here for a visit or for just maybe a life change, there's a lot of great opportunity here. And like Dwayne said, you can be a volunteer.
I'd love to keep it all secret. That
has passed. We are no longer.
Said, it's the second biggest lake in Virginia. Unbelievable. Again, late 80s, you would have never thunk it. Not a lot for 13,000, building a house, rolling back and forth from Heckagers and Richmond. Unbelievable. But the lake, we've seen the growth. I don't have to revisit it. To your point, good stewards. I'm a developer. I'm always trying to work with the counties, the public, and everybody. But good stewards of the lake. And there's some exciting things around. That with the roundabout and with some of the stuff that I've learned, and I don't want to steal your thunder, but I would love to hear some exciting things about Lake Anna. Everybody should know.
Well, absolutely. And back to the point that we made earlier about the changes in the growth at the lake. And the second part of the question you asked me is, why did my wife and I decide to start a business at the lake? Frankly, we had friends call us in, I think, 2018 and ask where can you rent a boat at the lake? And we owned our own boat. We owned a pontoon boat and a bass boat. I didn't have a clue. But when I started to look, I saw there weren't a lot of options. And especially at the time, there weren't a lot of options in Louisa County. And we finally found someone that I think rented their personal boat, and we made sure our friends got a rental boat. But I remember sitting on our back deck, my wife and I said, if somebody ever decided to open a boat rental company and had really nice equipment and really ran it professionally, they could do really well. And so we decided to open in 2019, and of course, 2020 brought COVID. And I remember thinking around March, are they going to shut down the outdoors?
There was a lot of uncertainty.
Yeah.
I was ready to shut down the building business.
Yeah, what's
We all didn't know
yeah,
what to do.
what's going to happen? But actually, 2020 was a pivotal year, not just for our business, but for the lake. I think that's when so many people realized that this gym was within an hour and a half, 2 hour, 2.5 hour drive, and I think you saw a big explosion in the popularity of Lake Anna, in people understanding that this would be a great place to live or a great place to vacation. And, that certainly had a huge impact on our business. And it's interesting. We started, I keep with the water theme we're on here is, you wade into the water to test the depth. You don't dive in head first. And we started with 5 jet skis and 4 boats. And right now we have 16 boats and 14 jet skis that we rent. And, but we did that gradually. We just let the business grow itself. And, one of the things that I would say is we're very careful that the people that we rent to, we have a lot of safety things in place that aren't even required by the state. For example, our minimum age is 21. People have to have a valid driver's license. They have to have either a boater's license or complete a safety course. We give them a 5-minute safety video they have to watch and go through. We do a 20-minute walkthrough on the boat or the jet ski with them. Then we do the only required thing by the state, which is a dockside check-in. But we do all those things because what I want to make sure is the people that we're putting on the water aren't going to be a danger to themselves or somebody else. And I take great pride in that we have a very high level of safety, that when we rent to somebody, that we make sure that they know what they're doing.
And your son actually runs the day-to-day operations.
My-
I've run into him a few times.
Yeah, my oldest son, Dakota, is our day-to-day manager. And people always say, if I happen to be the guy that answers the phone, well, we look forward to seeing you, Mr. Adams, on Saturday. And I'm thinking, well, you really don't want to see me, because if you see me, there might have been a problem that I had to go over and address, because I'm not there on a day-to-day
Well,
basis.
I've seen Dakota, and I won't speak to anything else, but I'm telling you, I've never seen anybody on one of your boats, and I got 70,000 pictures to prove it. Chris has been bored with a lot of my pictures.
Never bored. All
But I've never seen any of your boats somebody being irresponsible and not prepared. And with our own kids here, that's what we preach is slow safety, the little basics. So I mean, to hear that you do that, that's big. Working with the community, but also providing a service that brings people here to not only enjoy this beautiful lake we know, but to, spend their dollars here.
Hey, there's
What a
nothing
day.
like getting in a boat and getting on lake time. A pontoon boat is the perfect, method to do that. So many good times, I'm sure we've all had on a pontoon boat, and providing that opportunity. I had somebody come into my store the other day, and I actually told them about the number of places that you can rent boats, and they're asking, well, where can I get some really, really top of the line boats? I said, well, I think Dwayne's probably got the newest boats, so
I think
you
he's
might
got
want
a
to check with
program there.
him.
I'm always
Yeah.
picking people's brain. He's got a program. He's not gonna let out his trade secrets, but
No, it's
he
okay.
does have the latest and greatest boats, and I'm sure
We turn our entire fleet over every 24 months.
Yeah, that's big.
take good care, keep maintenance, and you got to deal with, I'm sure, a manufacturer, and
All that.
what a beautiful thing. So,
But again, that's all part of protecting the resources.
wow.
Make sure that everybody's having fun, that they're safe. And I will have to say, I saw on the way over here, I was at the shop, I was on the dock. I saw DWR patrolling the no wake zone in front of our business today, this afternoon. And I appreciate DWR, Louisa, Spotsy, all the law enforcement folks that are out there to make sure that everybody has a great time, but they're safe and
Several
that
boats
they're
out
following the
today,
rules.
but just helping out.
Absolutely.
Well, again, we talked about the 3 counties around the lake, but Louisa, and you talked about location. From a developer standpoint, not only do I live here, but people now, friends, customers, everything moving here. And it's kind of that circle. We're near Richmond, we're near Northern Virginia. I have people as far as New York coming here now.
What if we told you there was a shop at Lake Anna full of awesome lake-themed apparel, gifts, decorative items, drinkware, eyewear, kayaks, paddleboards, and more? The shop stocks ladies' dresses and cover-ups, bathing suits, sandals, and resort jewelry, as well as tees, tanks, long sleeves, hoodies, and sweaters for the whole family. Whether you're a local or a visitor, Lake Anna Outfitters is your source for everything Lake Anna. The shop is located on Route 208 in the Anna Point Marina Complex and open Tuesday through Sunday in season. Brands you'll find include Scout, Gooder, Mud Pie, Costa Del Mar, Hobie, Silly Pint, Pirani, Feel Free, Tahi, Lake Dog, LKA, Unsalted Coast, and more. We love to make you smile when you find that special decorative piece for your lake home or the perfect shirt for your next event. If you're in the market for water toys, come see our selection of Feel Free kayaks and Tahi paddleboards. We also offer rentals of both and are the start of the Lake Anna Water Trail. You can paddle from the shop or we can deliver rentals to your place. When you think of fun at Lake Anna, think Lake Anna Outfitters and visit the shop soon.
"2020 seemed to really spur that, investigative spirit of the people coming here. Now, I mean, 4 seasons, we've talked about it. This lake is 4 seasons.
Oh, yeah.
And Louisa has been very good about bringing the growth here to complement the people that are coming here. And again, there's just so much exciting things in Louisa. I don't want to steal it from you, but for me, and then I'll just hand it off to you, Louisa High School. I know we do everything Lake Anna, but when I talk about high schools and people, and when people are buying homes and lifestyles, especially moving here for full time, schools matter and your kids went there. My kids weren't fortunate enough to go there, but my son Ryan noticed it years ago. The football, that's what kind of brought him in. And then over the years, I've learned not only helping the people helping us doing this podcast today, they're working on cars, they're innovative. Tell me a little bit about that school, just to which I think separates Louisa on the lake.
Well, I mean, let me just do this before Dwayne jumps in here. The lake is an incredible economic engine, and it produces revenue that helps the county create an amazing educational system.
Well, that's true. And, the economic engine right now and for the last 30 years to Louisa County has been Lake Anna.
30 years.
Whether that's North Anna Power Station in and of itself or the homes that are built around Lake Anna. And, we certainly have seen that continually grow. But that revenue benefits everybody in the county, in addition to the jobs. And to your point, I think Lake Anna used to be about a 3 to 4 month destination area. I think Lake Anna has now become at least 11-month destination area, probably 12 with the boat parade at Christmas time and
We stood Thanksgiving, Christmas,
all of those things. And so that has benefited the entire county. And one of the benefits is, and as you mentioned, one of the young men that's behind the scenes here that making all this work, which I don't understand any of it, but through the CTE program and through the journalism course and the broadcasting course at the high school, we're very proud that Louisa County Public Schools ranks number 7 in the state. And the county's just made a huge investment of $40 million to build a brand new career technical education center, 55,000 square foot facility that will, again, give young people and adults, because of re-education, the opportunity, if they want to stay here to work in Louisa County, they have the opportunity to do that. I'm really pleased to see that one of the new courses to be offered through the CTE program is marine mechanics, because we all know, boats and water are great. We have a great time, but they always tend to need some kind of nurturing or care or
There's
something
room
like
for growth with marine mechanics.
Yeah,
For sure.
and there's a need, right? Because everybody that comes here,
No,
I was
it's-
counting, I didn't count it literally, but half of the cars I passed on the way over here that are coming in this weekend were or in a boat or a jet ski.
Yep.
And you know, when you get down here, you want to make sure that if something goes wrong, that there's somebody to fix it for you, because you want it fixed immediately. And but that's a great opportunity that we have in around the Lake Anna area, and a pretty specialized skill. You know, that's probably not a big market for that type of skill in Goochland or Fluvanna County, but because of Lake Anna around the lake, that is a marketable skill. And you know, that's the other thing that I want to talk about. When you talk about the resource around the lake, it's also the people. And I have met so many interesting people that have retired here or been attracted here because of the lake. And, you know, when I was running the first time, I knocked on a door, and nobody answered. And I was getting ready to leave, and a lady pulled up, and I was talking to her for a minute. And she said, "Well, my mother lives here. Would you like to speak to my mom?" And I said, "Certainly, absolutely." She said, "Well, my mother's 97, and we're from Hawaii." And she said, "An interesting thing I'll tell you about my mother. My mother firsthand witnessed the attack on Pearl Harbor on December the 7th. And I'm a history major." I said, "Well, geez, is it upsetting to talk about?" She said, No, it's, 55, 60 years ago. I talked to her briefly about that, and I said, regardless of how this election comes out, I'd really like to come back and sit down and talk to you. Mm-hmm. And I did. And, what an opportunity to speak to somebody who witnessed one of the most horrific parts of American history, but that had been drawn to this area by the lake and was contributing to the community. And I've met people who were Secret Service agents on presidential details that have retired here. I've met people that were test pilots in some of the first Air Force jets that we had back in the 1950s. And they've shown me pictures with President Eisenhower and President Truman and President Kennedy. And,
mutual friend with Air Force One. And
yeah.
All the pictures even.
Yeah, so,
history.
It's part of the resource of the lake. It's not just the lake itself, but it's the people that have become part of the lake community and that have so much to offer to our community and do offer so much. A perfect example of that is 2 years ago now, we opened Station 8. The new fire and rescue station on Route 208.
Yep.
And that, I think we all do. I think I have 5 because my granddaughter wanted one.
I've seen a couple different
items. So,
and what we're referring to is part of the fundraising for Station 8 Newbridge Fire and EMS was you could purchase a brick and you could have your name on or a little saying. And that's what helped fund a lot of things. I'm sure.
What you're talking about, Dwayne. We all joined in as a community.
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
And that's exactly right.
He's going to elaborate, I'm sure.
And that was that whole movement started because it was community organized. And I remember the very first time I met Pat and Jane Gallagher, who are pillars of the lake community, about the need for a rescue station and fire station in this area. Met them in their living room. Brought the fire chief with me at the time, and that had been talked about for about 15 years, but it had just never happened. And that station became the first station that was county paid, county staffed, about a $5.5–6 million investment on behalf of Louisa County. But to start it, the Board of Supervisors asked the local community to be engaged, just like every other community had built their own fire and EMS station, from Lake Anna Rescue to Bumpus to Locust Creek to wherever you want to go, and asked the community, Mineral, to raise $100,000 as seed money. And again, this was late 2019, early 2020, and COVID came. About the time the foundation got their charter and their state licensing, we were right in the middle of COVID, and everybody's like, "Gosh, how long is this going to take?" I think it was less than 4 months they raised that first $100,000.
When was it finished?
It's
been time flies. It's been finished over a year now.
For a year, yeah.
2. It's coming up on 2.
2 years.
2 years.
2 years,
and what is great about this community, though, is the community hasn't stopped fundraising. Matter of fact, they'll be at the next board meeting presenting a check for nearly another $100,000. They've raised over $750,000 and continue to operate as an auxiliary, really, to that station. But that again speaks to the community involvement and a sense of pride that people have that live around Lake Anna.
And, there's that one, and another example of the community coming together to purchase a resource is Lake Anna Rescue Inc. They do a lot of
On the private side, right?
they do, well, the lower end of the lake, the private side, but they were kind of under-equipped. They also had a wonderful community fundraising effort
Tremendous
for,
efforts, I saw.
I think it was about $100,000 boat, maybe a little bit over $100,000 boat, and they now have a boat, and it took them about a year.
Yeah.
So, well said. Our community is absolutely amazing. When we're not on lake time, we're helping others
That's exactly
and
right.
raising money and lifting them up so that the entire community can be strong for sure. Let's move on to maybe some more interesting things that have kind of come along that Supervisor Adams knows a little bit about.
The future.
Well, you've got some development coming. You've got the roundabout getting finished off. Pick a topic.
Well, let's talk about the roundabout.
Okay.
For the last several years, I have had VDOT. I've requested VDOT, and they've always helped us there, and the Louisa County Sheriff's Department for this weekend in particular, which is the busiest weekend for the lake, to direct traffic when you just had
We given them water before.
Yeah,
They did a heck of a job out
I've
there.
taken water up there,
Yeah.
taken different things when we had the T intersection, which was the most dangerous intersection in Louisa County, and it this year I didn't have to make that call because the roundabout is complete. It's been complete now for about 9 months. And the last time I checked, I'm not sure that it's true today, but it was true a month ago, that since the completion of the roundabout, there's not been one reportable accident there.
And that's what excites us about all this stuff. I've heard the same thing, and it's out there and it's chatter. But I will tell you, as somebody that uses it frequently and has sons and children that I know going through it, I can tell you it's much safer. And you're not near as frustrated. And it just seems like, at the very worst, it makes somebody over conservative is probably the worst thing.
You just need to let everybody out there know it's okay to use a turn signal to let others know when you're going to be leaving the roundabout.
Boats and cars around Lake Anna. Telegraph what you're doing.
We just need to learn how to use the roundabout
That's a
properly.
little local stuff.
And,
but
and
yes.
what a
No.
great gateway to Louisa County and the lake community too. And I think that we will be seeing some changes there at the roundabout. Not the design, that is done, but maybe some signage there coming up soon. And we can't wait to see what that's going to look like. Using tourism dollars that are generated from our transient occupancy taxes.
Oh, yeah.
Again, as you said, it's a great gateway to the lake, to Louisa County. Certainly has done a lot to make it safer for our full-time residents, for our visitors, just people passing through. It's been a huge positive to the lake area.
Beautifully done. I
And you-
didn't know how much I liked roundabouts. That's my favorite roundabout.
Well,
We need another one at Food Line.
Well, I was just about to say, I wouldn't mind to see one
Looking
at
ahead.
Kentucky Springs in
Yes.
208 right there. And actually,
would
there's some conceptual plans in place with VDOT to do
and you
that.
already have the right of way secured.
They do.
With VDOT, and that's the amazing thing is we're fortunate enough because of that location, timing, everything, and just with the technology today is to really just chart out this growth, and it's slow and it's methodical sometimes, but it's smart, and again, any other things about the future you'd like to share? I think we could probably have Dwayne on 10 episodes.
We
We would like to invite you back. I hope we
Probably
haven't
do
done
it
anything
again.
that any reason why you wouldn't come back, but there's so much to talk about at Lake Time.
Well, the only reason I wouldn't come back is I don't want to diminish your audience. But, when you talk about growth, though, and it is important that we manage growth. Growth's inevitable. I mean, growth is coming to the lake. People talk about, I don't want to see the 208 corridor from West Crossroads to the bridge developed. Well, most of that land's been zoned commercial for the last 20 to 30 years. So it's starting to develop now. Again, I think the catalyst to a lot of that was COVID. But it is important that as a community and as developers and as business people and as a county government, that we try to manage that growth and do it in a smart and responsible way. I think we need road upgrades there. Now, that's a little bit out of the local government's hands, but there may be an opportunity here in the very near future with additional revenue coming to the county to play a bigger role with VDOT in smart scale applications to develop that. 3 years ago, the county purchased wastewater treatment facility down by the lake. I was a proponent of that when I first ran, because what I would always concerned about was any effluent that goes into the lake. I want to make sure the lake stays healthy and clean and safe. That I wanted the most responsible people being responsible for the treatment of wastewater around Lake Anna. And the folks that are held to the highest standard and actually have the expertise to do that are not individual businesses, but the local government. And the county purchased that. I was glad to see the county purchase that. There's funding in place to upgrade that to a state-of-the-art facility. There's been improvements since the county purchased it as we move forward with that. But that, again, goes back to helping to manage the growth and doing it in a responsible way, but yet be a good steward of Lake Anna. And all of those things take planning. They just don't happen off the top of your head.
It's not. I always tell my sons every overnight success usually takes about 30 years on a lot of small decisions made. So, and I watch it. I get to watch it from a developer standpoint, but again, watching the county, comprehensive plans, meetings, all the coming together, I've just seen tremendous opportunities already realized, but I'm even more excited. That's why I'm retiring here, And I think I'm pretty
You
sure
can't
that
retire. I can't
I'm
retire.
gonna live to
You're not
107,
retiring
but
yet.
I
Come on.
you have to put up with me.
No
while
more
I do
retirement
this
talk.
stuff.
Yeah.
We got too much to do here still.
That's
Hey,
right.
we are running out of time for this episode of On Lake Time. So I wanted to make sure that Dwayne Adams knows how grateful we are for you spending your valuable time here with us
July
in the
3rd.
studio here. And I hope you'll join us again and fill us in all kinds of new details as new developments and things come about here in Louisa County. And we wish you well this season, and as well as in your upcoming election.
Well, thank you. And I
Yes, sir.
appreciate you having me here, and Lonnie, you having me here. And, I think a great way for me to end it is just, happy birthday, America. What a great country.
Oh my gosh! Happy birthday, America! And I'll just say, it's funny. We talk like we talk without the microphone, the camera. Great conversation. Thank you. Dwayne.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you.